what we're going to do is drill in today, and Sean and I are going to take this kind of tag team this content. So at each step in the webinar, I'm going to talk about the problems we see with our clients or with prospective clients, with organizations, and then Sean is going to talk about how we come alongside organizations who become our clients and help them. And these are what we would consider best practices. So whether you're working with us or not, hopefully there's a lot of information and insight you can take from these best practices. And whether you're working with us or not, there's hopefully some educational content here for you to put in place in your own organization to raise the bar on cybersecurity. The other comment I'll make is the core of today's topic is really the unique challenges that have been created by the dramatic growth in remote work. We've had teleworking for 20 years, but the pandemic really turbocharged the amount of remote work that's going on. Today, I think it's pretty fair to say that companies, geography and real estate footprint is a far less consideration to a lot of organizations. People are hiring people all over the country, all over the world to get work done. And people have really, companies of all sizes have embraced remote work. And what I will say is a lot of the challenges we're talking about in today's webinar, you could have a single company with a single headquarters where everybody's coming into the office and have all these problems. I think what we're seeing, however, is a lot of these challenges that the organizations are facing and their employees are facing, these problems are magnified by organizations that are embracing remote work. Because oftentimes organizations are growing quickly, or they're embracing remote work and adding new employees that are remote, and these problems get compounded in complexity. So just wanted to kind of set the stage with that as a comment. But let's kind of get into it, and let's talk about challenge number one. And really, working on these slides last week, I mean, literally, like the inspiration for so much of the content that's in these slides are literally sales engagements we are having with prospective clients yesterday, last week, Thursday, Wednesday, last week. Literally organizations where we've just come in and we've done a IT discovery and cybersecurity risk assessment, and we're finding a lot of these challenges. So this is like real world, on the ground challenges that we're seeing every day with prospective clients. The first one is bring your own device computers. There are lots and lots of small companies that are growing quickly. You have ambitious entrepreneurs running the companies. They've got the tiger by the tail in terms of growth. They're growing their companies, but they don't really fathom how dangerous it is to be running your company with exclusively employee-owned, personally owned computers. I mean, the beauty of software as a service and the fact that so many applications can be accessed from a simple web browser today encourages people to put in place some bad habits and bad practices, in our opinion. And so there are a lot of organizations where they'll hire an employee and they'll let them be doing company work from an employee-owned computer. And that can create a whole host of challenges. We see this in fast growth SMB companies where I would say they're kind of getting over their skis a little bit because they're growing too fast and they're not really addressing this reality. And the reality is, even if you have some security measures in place, it's really hard to have control over a computing environment if you're not deploying company-owned computers. So Sean, talk to the audience a little bit about the best practices we put in place and some of the things where we believe in this area.
Yeah, and Ted, thanks for bringing up the fact that this is actually real world stuff that we're seeing, because just as you mentioned, I mean, we were talking to a prospect just a couple of weeks ago, and this is the exact issue that they're trying to solve. And I know one of our other challenges we'll kind of talk about some of the other kind of downstream effects that BYOD kind of computers have. But so, our solution and the things that we always recommend, 100% company-owned machines. In fact, we have our own kind of internal IT policy that our team is not allowed to do any SnapTech work unless it is on a company-owned machine, just because we can't. I don't know where that machine has been. I can't protect that machine. With a BYOD machine, a lot of times, employees don't want you to install a bunch of security tools on it because they want to have full control over their own kind of personal computer, which makes a ton of sense. So we recommend just 100% company-owned machines. It solves a lot of potential security risk and headaches kind of down the road. You're also able to kind of control the software, data, and security, and I know we're going to talk about those and some challenges later on. And quite frankly, in some of the industries that we deal with, such as the defense industrial base, financial, legal, things like that, you are really not supposed to allow your employees to work on BYOD machines. Just from a compliance standpoint, you're not really supposed to be doing that. So good stuff there. Yep.
Yeah, and this really applies for Macs or Windows machines.
Yep.
Some other things. I mean, in terms of Windows machines, we always recommend Windows Pro and machines that have the vPro chip, because there's a whole host of remote support and security capabilities we can put in place when you have the right company-owned machines and the right business class, enterprise class laptops.
Right. Yep. Completely agree.